You're listening to Paul Anderson. This is the Sideshow Podcast.
And what is up? I am your host, Paul Anderson. This is the Sideshow PC. I want to welcome you. This might be your first time listening to this show, and you may be a returning listener. I want to thank you all for tuning in. This week I have an awesome guest. I have Tank. He's from the band Energy, and I'm excited for this interview because, I've been listening to Energy for some time now, and for me personally, this is a good treat for me because I've seen Energy perform live, and Tank is such a good dude live. If you haven't seen him, definitely you should check them out when they're touring. It's just one of those bands that I definitely can get down with, and it's just been it's been a while listening to this band and seeing them kind of grow from the very beginning is it's really cool, and it's special because getting to actually have a conversation with Hank is it's really cool. So I'm excited, but before I give him a call, first things first, if you want to become a Lyft driver, sign up to be a Lyft driver today. Go to lyft.com/sideshowpc, and that will actually help out the show, and it'll help you out getting a job if you need one. All right. I don't know. I like keeping that shit simple, I guess, but Lyft's a good company. But yeah, I'm excited for this. They have a brand new EP coming out. We're going to talk a little bit about that. We're going to definitely talk about the recording process for Energy. And yeah, it's a real treat. Like I said, they're from Stoughton, Massachusetts, and for me, being from outside of the Worcester area and getting to see them either at the Worcester Palladium or any of that, it's really cool. So we're going to give Tank a call right now, and we'll hop right into this conversation. All right.
Hello?
Hello.
Hey.
What's up, man? How you doing?
I'm good, you?
I'm doing good. How's things been?
Pretty good.
Pretty
Just
good.
hanging out.
Dude, things have been looking good for you. You and Energy have been, you guys been busy.
Yes, we have. We've been, busy preparing for our upcoming UK tour and our new EP and all that stuff, and we spent the last almost year now preparing for all this stuff. So yeah.
You guys have been doing so good. Last I heard, UK has been really good to you guys. How's that been?
Very good. We had never been to the UK before, and we went over there, and we didn't really know what to expect. Guys from Creeper were telling us that we had a lot of fans over there, and, we had the opportunity to go over, so we went, and it was insane. It was, we just have a very large fan base over there. It's really cool.
So, like you said, you have a new EP coming out very soon.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited for it. It's called Under the Mask, which is available July 21st. And right now, if people want to, they can definitely pre-order it, which I think pre-ordering is the best thing to do for any record. Especially if you want to go out there and support artists, pre-order is the way to go.
Yeah.
Now, the one thing I like about your band is you guys you guys have done a lot. You did some label work in the past, and the thing that's great about you guys is that like you kind of stepped away from that, and I respect that because you're doing something that I think a lot of artists should do in a way. Is like, you know, you guys are kind of putting it out there yourselves. Are you doing that with Under the Mask as well?
Yeah, we're basically putting that out ourselves. Well, I run Shadowland Productions, which is just what I call what I do. And that's the label that is just, you know, distributing it digitally and, you know, making the CDs and all that stuff. So, yeah, we're very much not, you know, it's very much a DIY thing right now. It's not, and we have done the label thing in the past, like you said, but we just are doing it this way for now.
It's awesome, man. I mean, I guess other than money, I've talked with some label owners on the show in the past, and the best way they describe themselves is a giant bank. But I guess for you guys, is there a big, is there a lot more challenges, I guess, going forward, being a DIY and kind of putting it out yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. It's 100% financial. And well, I don't know if it's 100% financial, but it's mostly financial and mostly through the connections that the labels have, and like through media outlets and all that stuff. It just gets, labels do still offer quite a bit that you can't do yourself unless you have a lot of money.
Yeah. And I guess for the writing for Under the Mask, was there anything different going forward with this particular EP compared to a lot of your past releases? I mean, everything you guys have really put out, in my opinion, is fantastic, and I definitely support this support Energy 100%.
Thank you.
So, that. I mean, going forward, I guess with Under the Mask, is there kind of like, did you kind of I guess take any particular inspiration, whether it was like a world problem, or do you take a lot of your life experiences and kind of use that as an outlet while writing?
It's definitely more personal experience. I don't really take too much of a look outwardly. Occasionally I do, like if something affects me directly or personally or whatever, but it's mostly introspection. Yeah.
I think I guess during the recording process too, for you guys. Now, where did you end up recording this record?
We recorded it at the same studio that we did our Apparition Sound record at, which used to be called Apparition Sound Studios, which is why we called the record that. And but they changed it to Reclaim Studios, so it's the same producer, same studio, same location. It's just a different name of the studio. They're doing Reclaim Music Group over there, and it's just a just a new brand. Yeah. But yeah, it's the same producer as our last record, and same producer as Invasions.
Oh, Mr. Chris Kern, right?
Yeah, Chris Kern. Yeah.
Yeah, Chris is great. He's a good dude.
Hopefully
I'll get him on the show. I definitely have a lot to pick. I want to pick his brain on a lot of things.
Yeah, you should get him on the show.
Such a good dude. I've known him for quite a while, so.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I've known Chris for quite a while.
That's cool.
He's a very nice guy.
Yeah.
But I guess when you guys got into the studio now with Under the Mask, when you guys went into the studio, I guess. I hear a lot from other artists as well, and I guess trying to get your perspective on it. When you enter the studio, you obviously have songs written. Do you change a lot, I guess, once you get in there, or do you kind of do a lot of fine tuning, or is it pretty much like you're confident in what you've written at this point, and it's like, let's just get them recorded? And...
Yeah, I bring in pretty complete ideas. Every so often, there's been something that Chris has been like, he's just been like, oh, you need to cut this in half. And I remember one time he turned, I had like a 5.5 minute song or a 6-minute song, and he turned into like a 2.5-minute song. Like he just makes it much more like listenable and appropriate. But like a lot of the time, like especially with this record, as far as like structure wise, like we had the songs pretty fleshed out before we went in there. And what I like about Chris is that he understands the layering and the texturing and the melodic tendencies and tones and stuff that I really like to make an energy record sound like an energy record.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
So it's good that you kind of like, there's always that nice consistency, and that's one thing I've noticed with an energy record is that there is a consistency. Like, you know, it's an energy song. It's not like you guys are throwing out something out of left field for your fans, especially the ones, you know, who've been longtime listeners. Like, well, what the heck is this? And I guess that's
I mean, I feel like every time we do a new release that we're like pushing the boundaries a little bit, and I'm always scared that that's how it's going to come across. Like, people are going to go, where's this coming from, you know? But that's the only way to, you know, push the boundaries is to test it out.
I guess it challenges you too as a songwriter too, to some aspect.
Yeah, I mean, I just write what I write, and then Chris makes it sound the way he makes it sound, and you know, we just, I don't know. I don't ever sit there and go like, I'm gonna write this kind of record. I just, when things come to me, I just write them and then jot the ideas down. And when there are plans to enter the studio, I just go in. I don't know.
I love it, man. That's awesome. I want to back it up a little bit and definitely talk a little bit about your past.
Sure.
I mean, when and why did you start playing music when you did? I mean, you've been in energy the band started in what, 2002, if I'm correct?
2006.
2006, excuse me, I'm sorry.
So not that old.
So, I mean, I guess when did you start playing music altogether? I mean, was it in high school or?
I believe it was like middle school.
Holy cow.
I started playing guitar, and I just taught myself. I think my dad showed me how to play a power chord, and then I just taught myself everything. And I had to have been like 12, maybe 13 or something, and I had been singing just in like church choir and stuff, like all growing up. And I was just always into singing. And yeah, I thought like, I remember I heard bands like Metallica and Nirvana and stuff, and I was like, oh, and Smashing Pumpkins. And I was like, oh, if I want to start a band, I have to, you know, learn an instrument. Like, I thought that you needed to play an instrument because all of those frontmen had guitars in their hands. And, you know, it turns out when you see, you know, when I play live now, I don't have a guitar in my hand, but I'm glad that I learned how, because now I can write songs.
That's true, yeah.
Yeah.
So, I guess, when you learned how to play guitar, was there any other instruments that kind of came with it as well, as you were learning, or was it just kind of like, you know, picked up the guitar and went with it?
What was that?
I'm sorry. I guess other than the guitar, was there any other instruments you kind of picked up in the meantime?
No, not really. The guitar's just been the only instrument I've ever really messed around with. I mean, obviously there's bass and acoustic guitar, but I mean, they're just variations of the same stringed instrument.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's really the only instrument I know how to play. I've written plenty of stuff on piano, but I don't know how to play it. That might sound weird, but like I know how to like sound out the root notes and then sound out the lead notes, and I can like tell a keyboardist like what to play, and they'll be able to figure it out. I don't know, but I can't do it physically.
Was there ever a particular song, I guess, that really kind of like made you want to be in a band, or like, I mean, like you said, was Metallica like one of the bands that kind of got you like, this is a band that influenced you to play music?
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. They're a huge influence on me. still to the way I write guitar riffs and the way that I write melodies. And I mean, they're just one of those bands that just struck a chord at a young age for me. Yeah.
Now, is there any famous musicians, I guess, that you admire that were a big influence and a big player, I guess, in how you write your music today?
Yeah, I would say, like, today it's a combination of, like, Bad Religion and, like, Danzig and Black Sabbath, and there's a song on the new record, the title track, Under the Mask. A lot of people have told me it sounds like the band Ghost, which is probably accurate because I was listening to a lot of Ghost when I wrote that song. So, just all kinds of bands, and like the Foo Fighters. Like I'm always a sucker for like a big, huge arena rock sounding anthem with, like, a guitar solo or some big crescendo of some kind. But
were there any tours as well, I guess, that stuck out to you that you took a lot from? I mean, you were on Bridge 9 Records for a while, and that's the one thing I actually do like about Energy too, is I like to call you guys kind of like the band's band, because when I've seen you, I saw you play with 4 Year Strong. I've also, and I feel like, I've seen you guys do tours with, like, H2O.
Yep.
So it's like, you guys are like the band's band. Like, I guess.
I love that you said that, because I have said that to myself when it's like, I don't know, and I don't care if that sounds pretentious or not. I don't really care. But I've been watching like Louis C.K. and stuff, and for so long he was just trudging through the underground, like, circuit of comedy, and he eventually became what everybody refers to as the comedian's comedian.
Exactly.
And I started to think, I'm like, it's all these people in bands, and all of these bands seem to like us, and we even have an influence on current bands, but we haven't quite caught as big of a break as all these other bands.
And that surprises me. Honestly, it does surprise me, because, like, you guys have been doing this for so long, and you guys have such a great reputation, I guess, between just going out there. And it's not like, like a lot of, and I say this with any respect to anybody, like, that's in a band that, is listening, is like, I feel like a lot of bands sometimes, like, they're kind of cherry picking the tours that they get, or like they let somebody else make those decisions, where it's like, oh, well, this makes sense, but it's like, what happened to the days, I guess, when play a gig and have a good time? So that's why I love Energy. It's like, you never know. It's like, when you go to an Energy show, it could be, you guys are willing to play with, like, hardcore bands. You guys can play with a metalcore band. You guys can play with a pop punk band if you wanted to. I mean, there's no guideline where you guys can play, and that's what's so special about Energy, in my opinion. I at least that's what I think.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's what's special to me about being in Energy, is that we're not, I mean, it's a blessing and a curse. It's like we're not one particular thing, so we fit in everywhere, but we're also the misfits everywhere. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
If there's a pop punk show and we're on the bill, we're the odd guys out, and it's like, half the crowd's wondering, what our deal is, and the other crowd is the other half is kind of digging it. It can work both ways, but I'm glad you appreciate that.
Has there ever been, I guess, any record while you were growing up that just stuck out to you, that is just one of those records that's like, this is my favorite record of all time?
Yeah, Static Age by the Misfits.
Static Age by the Misfits, that's a good record.
Yeah, I mean, that's just like the first, that's always my go-to answer for that, because it has all, like, out of any Misfits release that's like an album, not like a box set or anything.
Yeah.
But like out of any proper album of theirs, that has the most of my favorite songs on it, and I think sound-wise it's the best, and I think Glenn's voice was just at its peak. Like, I don't know about its peak, but it was really good. And somehow they just sounded amazing. And then after that, they started recording worse somehow, and it just, I don't know. But yeah, but that record has stood the test of time. I've been listening to it since I was a little teenager, or maybe even preteen.
Wow.
And now I'm in my 30s, still listening to it.
I guess now, like you said, you're in your 30s. Is there any, I guess, and you've been doing energy since 2006, and
yep.
There's a lot, like you said, there's a lot of younger bands out there. I guess, is there any particular advice you'd want to give, a teenager like you were once? Is there any advice that you could give them as they try to start a band?
Jeez, I do get asked this a lot, and I don't really know. Just kind of make sure you're doing it from your heart, and if you're really gonna actually go for it, you'll see how much work there actually is. And I don't really need to tell you anything. You're gonna have to learn from experience.
There you go.
I mean, that's my advice. It's just do it, because you're gonna, anything I could possibly try to prepare you for, you're gonna find, just as severe of obstacles, but in a completely different way. Like, so there's no way to prepare it. So just do it if you love it, and you'll stick with it if you truly love it.
That's a good way to put it, I guess. I definitely agree with you on that. How do you, I guess, if there's any like mistakes, I guess, during a live performances or anything that you do to kind of like, how do you handle it, if anything?
Well, I mean, I've had some pretty brutal mistakes in like live performances. I've forgotten the words on like radio performances. I've fallen into my drummer's drum set. I've fallen off stage. I've fractured my ankle on stage. I've broken my knuckle on stage. I mean, all kinds of. It's just I've chipped a tooth on stage. I've cut myself open on everybody else's instruments countless times on stage. I don't know. I just I've had people jump on my head, and I thought I was gonna have I thought I was gonna get a concussion or something. But what do I do to recover? I usually just, if it's some kind of thing involving my singing, it's pretty easy to mask that. You just pull the mic away from your face or pretend it's not working or something.
Mm-hmm.
But but there was actually a time recently in Leeds where my voice I've been alive for over 32 years now, and I've never lost my voice.
Oh,
ever.
Nice.
And that happened on stage in Leeds. And we had to cut the set short, and it was really, really bad. So I'm hoping to make up to those kids in Leeds, make up for that bad show this time around, next time.
I guess what's going to be your favorite part about going back to the UK? I mean, I've never been overseas, so I can only imagine.
Yeah. My favorite part, it's not really like my favorite part's just going to be playing.
Yeah,
but,
of course.
Like, the thing I'm looking forward to the most is definitely seeing how effective our last tour was. Because that's what I learned, going back to, you talked about H2O and how we toured with them. I remember when we toured with H2O, I felt like that crowd didn't even really care that we were playing. And then we came through the next time, and there were like a bunch of people that said they saw us on that tour. So I was like, being an opening act for a bigger band as exposure really does work. So I was like, okay, we're doing this Creeper thing. We did the Creeper tour now, and I actually feel like the crowd, they were really, really receptive to us. And so I guess what I'm mostly looking forward to is seeing what the turnouts are going to be like. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Because we've never headlined over there before, and now we are the main draw. So it's, it'll certainly tell me what our worth is over there in the UK, at the moment at least.
It's weird because like I know for a while like, and I mean this with any kind of respect. In one way, it's like I felt like Energy was kind of losing a little bit of steam, but all of a sudden, then it's like I did see a lot of things about you guys in the UK, and it was like all of a sudden it was like it was crazy.
Yeah, that's because of the band Creeper. See, they played a show in Boston last July.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it was a little less than a year ago,
Mm-hmm.
and they were playing at the Middle East, and in Cambridge, and I got an email, and it was from somebody that I know who works for Bowery Boston, and they were like, "Hey, then does Energy still play out?" And the fact alone that's like a question was depressing enough.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, like people don't even know if we're a band or not. Cool. No, but like he said, I was like, yeah, we do. I had like temporary musicians and stuff that I was using to play out, and I was like, yeah, sure, that sounds good. I'll do that. And I checked out their aesthetic and everything, and they're like the perfect band for us to play with.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're a very similar aesthetic, very similar sound sometimes, and then Will, the singer, came up to me at the show and just started gushing about how much he loved Energy and how long he's been listening to the band. He knew every little detail that there was to know about every obscure little release I've done. I was like, okay, this is cool. And he's like, would you ever want to come to the UK? I was like, yeah, definitely. And it pretty much started from there. I got a whole new lineup of musicians that wanted to tour.
Mm-hmm.
That was a big problem with the people I was working with before, that they didn't want to tour and stuff. So, the show must go on.
Absolutely.
And, so I had to let them go, and I got a whole new band of people who I'm still working with. They're the same people. They had a drummer change, but the same core group of people that have been really revitalizing and breathing new air, like new life into the band. Mm-hmm. And it's just been like a perfect storm of like people willing to cooperate, good opportunities, just etc. And I'm just like, I take note mentally to be thankful for that every day.
I love it. I mean, it's kind of like you said, you guys it's like a whole new band. Like you said, it's literally a whole new band in a way. And
yeah. Oh, yeah.
You guys are just out there to literally take over and just have a good time while doing it. Mm-hmm. Is there ever, I guess, during your performances, do you warm up or anything like that? I know you say you have never lost your voice, or you've only lost your voice once, technically.
Yeah, only one time, and that was really weird. I think it was because there was some kind of sickness going around on the tour, and I think I caught it, and because I could speak fine, I had a little bit of a rasp to my voice, but yeah, I mean, like, it's just the notes just weren't coming out of my throat. It was the craziest thing. But what was the question? I can ramble sometimes.
Oh, it's all good, dude. No, that's the point of this podcast. I love just hearing stories and. But no, I was gonna say, as a singer, I guess, do you warm up a lot, or do you kind of just go with it and have fun?
No, I take my warm-ups and my singing very seriously. I have a series of warm-ups that I do and that I've been doing since Energy's been a band. I just hear horror stories of like singers not treating their voices right, and then they have to go and have like vocal cord surgeries like later on in their lives and all this stuff.
Yeah. I
don't drink and I don't smoke cigarettes and I don't do hard drugs or anything like that. So I'm like I try to really take care of my voice, because I mean it's not hard to lose it if you mistreat your yourself. So.
No, and that's important too. I mean, at the end of the day, you are trying. I mean, you don't want to treat it as a job, but in a way, you want to definitely go out there and give people who pay to see you like the best performance every time. And that's one thing I can definitely understand and totally respect.
Yeah.
I guess another question I have for you is, do you balance your music with other obligations? I guess throughout your life, like I mean, I know that you do a little bit of modeling here and there.
Yeah.
So I mean, is there any do you balance a lot of it? Is it easy to balance, I guess, your day to day stuff with energy?
Yeah, I just kind of work freelance and do that kind of stuff. Basically. I mean, the modeling thing is basically my other job. I don't know.
It's cool, dude. No, it's all good.
Yeah.
Is there any particular tour? I mean, you've been doing this for so long now, and you traveled a lot. Has there ever been a tour or a particular show, or even like a particular venue, I guess, that sticks out to you that might be maybe one of your personal favorites? Tour-wise?
I would say the last one that we just did was easily the best thing I've ever done. I was like blown away every night. But like my favorite city in the United States to play is Charleston, South Carolina. Definitely.
Why is that?
I don't know what it is. Like something about that area. They really, really are diehard about us. And we didn't tour for like 6 or 7 years, and I thought for sure nobody anywhere cared about Energy at all anymore. And I just kind of wanted to resurrect it with some new songs of mine, and just do it again.
Mm-hmm.
And we got an offer to come down to South Carolina, so we booked a few shows there and back. And the show in South Carolina ended up selling out twice the capacity of the venue. It was like insane.
Really?
And this was this year. This was earlier this year, I think. Either that or it was like late last year. But yeah, it was like very recently. And like 7 years later, we come play Charleston, South Carolina, and sell it out, and they know all the words, even our like newer songs. And I don't know, that city's or town, city, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
I guess going forward, is there, let's say like things do kind of take off, I mean, would you put into consideration maybe going through a label again, or are you guys pretty content with what you're doing because it's worked for you this long now?
Oh no, we would definitely prefer label assistance. I mean, self-funding is not easy, and we're not really in the mindset to go the crowdfunding route.
Yeah.
Like anymore.
I found those weird too. Yeah. Sorry, cut you off.
As of right now, I mean, never say never, but the main, the collective, agreement in the band is to not crowdfund. So yeah, that label support would really help us. If we could get sign with a label, we could put out another record like really soon. So
that'd be amazing. I mean, have you guys already started, I guess, writing for something more, or are you kind of?
I have enough bits and pieces where I think if you gave me a date, like a reasonable date, and told me I needed to write a record by then, I think I could probably do it.
There you go.
Because like I have enough stuff, like little bits and pieces that I think I could complete it. And then obviously I write a bunch of more stuff. I work really well under pressure and like deadlines and stuff. So that's why this EP happened. Everyone was like, "You're going back to the UK. You need a new EP out. Go!" And I was like, "Oh my god!" And like I just panicked because I write everything, and I'm just like, "Oh god, I have to write a bunch of songs now." Like it was like cool. But I end up being like so happy with some of the stuff that I write last minute. Like I remember specifically the last verse in our song "Another Yesterday." I wrote that like I think like while I was in the studio, and it's just like off the cuff kind of stuff where you don't think too much about it and you end up loving it. I mean, that's a really risky way to go about it, but I don't know. I'm lazy, I guess, to put it, short. In short, I just like don't finish my songs unless somebody like cracks a whip.
No, I understand the working under pressure.
Yeah.
So, dude, I just have one more question, and I think we're pretty cool, dude. I can't wait to hear the new record. It's gonna be awesome. But my last question,
definitely.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'll send it to you once we're off the thing.
Oh, that'd be awesome. I'd love to. I can't wait to hear it. I guess my last question is, I do this with all my guests, is we usually play a game called Desert Island, and I think you kind of answered it early on, but I'll still try it again anyways. Is you're stuck on a desert island, and you have to bring one record with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we already answered that question earlier, didn't we? Or no?
Oh, man. I mean, if we're talking desert islands now,
Yeah.
then... I mean, then I might do the cop-out answer and say the Misfits box set.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, yeah, I mean, it's probably Static Age still.
There you go. Dude, I appreciate it. I love Energy. I can't wait to hear the new record, Under the Mask, which is available July 21st. Pre-order it today, guys. I just can't get enough of the band. I mean, you guys have just been... I swear to God, like... Oh, actually, no, I did have one more question. Fuck, I'm about to come off the air, and I have one more question that's always been on my mind about Energy.
Yeah, go for it, man.
All right. Your album art. I think that's... And I say this is like, I never heard of Energy. Your album art always caught my eye, and I literally think
cool.
I literally think that when I see the vinyls and stuff like that come out, like, they are the most beautiful things ever. And if nobody's ever checked out what, like an Energy record or the covers or anything like that, I think they're awesome. Who's been doing those record covers? Because they're just one of those things that, and I think that's kind of in a respectful sense. It's like, it reminds me of kind of like an Iron Maiden where, you always had Eddie that stuck out. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like that was just like that vibe when I first saw it. I'm like, dude, these things are fucking awesome.
Yeah, thanks, man. Well, Bill Hauser from Minnesota did Punch the Clock, Invasions of the Mind, and Walking to the Fire.
Mm-hmm.
Everything else is my friend George, who lives only a couple towns over from me.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, I hang out with him all the time, and we share like a similar aesthetic, and yeah, I mean, I always liked album covers that looked like comic books, or they looked like, paintings or drawings, or like cartoony stuff, and like Misfits and AFI and Danzig, and just stuff like that. And I even liked the Goosebumps books, like the cover art for those things.
Totally.
And, like Tim Burton movies and all that stuff. And so I'd say it's just a combination of all of those visual influences. Plus, I'm sure there are a whole bunch more if you were to actually ask George and Bill, like, what their influences are artistically. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely something that I put a lot of focus and effort into, because I think that with our album covers and stuff, and the image that we give off, I think having like that uniform feel and look is very it helps our sound and our image guide itself along.
I agree. Dude, that's awesome. That's one of the things that always kind of stuck out to me. And I think that's probably part of the reason why I also checked out Energy in the beginning is like, the album cover caught my eye. And, I hate to say it, but like they always say, don't judge a book by its cover. But
yeah, no, that's awesome. No, I found records that way. I found the Nerve Agents, what's that? The Days of the, what is it, like White Owl or something? Like I found a Nerve Agents album that way. I just looked at it and I was like, this looks like a band I would like.
Just grab it and go. That's awesome. Yeah. All right, man. I really appreciate your time. I can't wait for, like I said, I can't wait for Under the Mask, which is available July 21st, and it is available for pre-order. So if anybody is listening, get out there, pre-order it, support Energy, because I totally do, and I can't wait for this record. So,
thanks,
Tank, dude, thank you so much for your time, and it's been very appreciated.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely, brother. All right, everybody. This is the Sideshow PC. I'm Paul Anderson, and until next week, take care now. Hey, yeah. So that was it. Tank is such a good dude. So after I got off the air with Tank, I also realized I forgot to ask him an important question, and he gave me an answer. I usually like to play music at the end of the podcast. So we were talking, and he thought it'd be great for me to play one of the songs off the new EP, and this one's called The Witching Hour. So this is The Witching Hour by Energy. Check them out. Pre-order the record. I don't think you're going to be disappointed. All right, so until next week, later.